Welcome to Aging Fearlessly. I'm your host, Guillermo Vidal, and I'm very happy you could join me in this program today. Now, a few weeks ago, my next door neighbor, Maria, passed away. We all knew it was coming as she had been battling cancer all that time. But I gotta admit, when her final hour finally arrived, I felt sadder about it than I had expected to be, and I'll tell you why. Maria had been my neighbor for 5 years. She was always friendly, but also very, very private. And even though we had exchanged home keys so we could help each other out when one of us was out of town, I actually didn't know much about her except that she'd been devastated by the loss of her husband a year before she moved into the townhouse next door to mine. Yet, from all appearances, she had managed to move on gracefully with her life over these last years. Now, if you went inside Maria's home, you would immediately notice the pride she took in how it looked. The place was impeccably finished, as she had pretty much remodeled it from top to bottom soon after she had moved in. She had floors redone, walls painted, and all appliances and fixtures replaced with modern ones. She had decorated every room with beautiful furniture and linens, and many expensive paintings and art pieces Maria had brought. Her home was something special. Yet her death changed all of that and reminded of one of life's greatest lessons, and that is everything we think is ours in this life is only on loan to us. Right after Maria died, we had been told that the family members would be coming over to take some of her things. But this didn't happen right away, and Desi, my partner, and I, who walked by Maria's home on the way to ours 3 to 4 times a day, watched her home sit in darkness for a few weeks. Now, because of this inactivity, we grew concerned about Maria's outdoor plants, and so we watered all the plants from time to time that we could reach and then swept out her entryway, just like she liked to do every Saturday morning. We'd be awakened by her blower doing her walk. But then one day, as Desi and I were walking by the house, it was open and there were several people inside. And pretty quickly we noticed that some of them were carrying some of Maria's things out of the house into their vehicles and then left. You could also notice that they had left tags pasted to furniture and things that remained with the names of people on them. This seemed like a familiar process, among her family, and it's similar to what happens, frankly, in estate sales where someone's prized possessions are sold for bargain prices to total strangers. I felt sad remembering how meticulous Maria had been about her possessions and how unceremoniously, now that she was gone, they became the property of someone else. And suddenly this whole experience brought me face to face with my own focus on owning things, a process that has been with me ever since I earned my very first dollar. At first, of course, like all of us, this desire was centered on putting bread on the table and ensuring a roof over my head. But I remember how quickly I had exceeded just buying for my necessities, for I too wanted a nice home, fine furniture, and art to decorate walls. And I still live in that world somewhat, as witness every time I've given a tour of the house to impress guests who come over for dinner and showing them my ability, I guess, for buying beautiful things. Does this sound familiar to you? Now, Maria's worldly exit reminded me that when it finally gets here, death becomes the great arbiter, for it decides that we lead this life with absolutely nothing, not even our bodies. Now, in the past, buying nice things was a big focus of mine, but a few years ago, I made the decision to tone down this focus so that it would not be so high on my priority list as it had once been. And I'm glad I did this, for I could see that having so many nice things demanded actually most of my effort and treasure. Maria and her passing reminded me that no matter how much we polish and care for these things, all of these possessions that surround us will someday be someone else's, and they will leave with the new owners without a complaint or memory of who owned them before. Now, this is an important lesson to reflect on as we go about the business of creating our best life. I believe we'll be much better off spending our money giving ourselves and loved ones new and beautiful memories and adventures. we will also be better off being more generous in sharing our abundance with others. I mean, you can still leave a will of the things that are yours to those you want to have them. But the greatest gift you can leave them is to stop providing so much for yourself and use your abundance to make those close to you feel loved. Live to give them reasons to believe in the goodness of people. In the end, what kind of legacy do you prefer to leave? A legacy of the things you own, or a legacy of love for those who mattered in your life? I think you know the answer to that question. See you soon.